Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thanks as always for making your way here, checking out the series. Hit that subscribe button. I put out 3 new interviews every single week, so it's a great way to keep up with all of your favorite artists. And I am so excited to once again to be talking to some old friends, one of my favorite bands, the Lone Bellow, Zach, Brian, Kanene. Hi, guys.
Hello.
It's great to see y'all again. You got a new record.
Yeah.
Now, this is some good stuff. Love Songs for Lovers. I mean, I'm always a fan of what you all do. And this is no exception.
For losers.
Losers. What did I say?
Yeah.
Lovers?
Yeah.
So that makes a difference right there, because Love Songs for Lovers is very different from Love Songs for Losers.
It could be lovers that are losers as well, you know.
Loser Songs for Lovers is
Yeah.
Loose songs.
loose songs. Anyway, it's such a good record. I really mean that every single time, but this one seems extra special.
Dude, thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah. And coming off the heels, I was looking back because it wasn't until I was reading, maybe there's a press release or something like that, but talking about, like, you know, doing a record like this even after 10 years. And I thought, holy cow, has it been almost 10 years since we met each other on the roof in Austin? That was like a decade ago. That's kind of insane to me.
It was so hot. I still remember how hot it was. And
Yeah.
I still have the free headphones they gave us.
Oh, I do too.
Oh, so do I. We all I don't think we were supposed to walk out of there with those, but we all still have them. So that's.
I love those. I use them all the time.
I think I have 2 pair.
Are you listening, Sony? Are you listening? Are you watching?
So we do our record label. We need to take everything we can from them.
Wow.
Oh, but seriously, all right, Love Songs for Losers. Let's start there, because it is a funny title. I know that might be an obvious point, but where did that come from? Who came up with that one?
Well, you know, it was the working title in the studio while we were making the record. I had written love songs down, and then Kanene like walked by one day and just wrote "For Losers." And after we made the record, after we made the record and we were like mixing it and stuff, we were trying to figure out what we were going to name it. We had a few other names, and they just were not as strong as that. And it stuck. And I think one of the reasons that it stuck is because there's some like honest love songs on this record, which, as you know, we haven't done that much of. We've written love songs, but sometimes they're a little harder to read between the lines. Whereas this one is just like, bam, here we go. And then we definitely see ourselves as the losers in this situation. So, so it was like, let's name the record this for us. This is our inside joke. And then now it's everyone's inside joke.
But at some point, does it have to represent like the songs as a group in that sense?
I think there's a theme.
There's a little thread. They're not all love songs. I mean, the first single that we released, when the label was like, "This is the single," we were like, "Dude, did you listen carefully to the words?" But anyway.
Yeah. Well, and we'll go ahead and bring that one up then. Gold, for everything that it's not in what we're talking about, it still becomes a powerful song. And maybe I'm generalizing, and of course I am taking a little bit from what I've read so far, but how the opioid crisis sort of becomes part of this. It's something that like, I'm from a small town in Kentucky, and when I go back there, man, it's you just see it everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, ours too. Yeah,
ours too. And I think that's why we wrote this song from the perspective of someone like addicted to opioids and caught in the storm of it all, and then just like trying to maybe revisit the small town America story, but like where it's at currently. So that's what was like Main Street on the auction block kind of thing. Yeah.
But for some reason, like the gold, the way the person, like lending the pen to the person that's in the addiction, he's actually sees, it's kind of hopeful in a weird way. Like he sees the gold and where he's from, and that maybe it's not over for them. Maybe there's a good future for him. You know what I mean? So I've always seen like him, maybe there's another side of it. You know what I mean? But yeah.
It's funny because we wrote it together, and I always saw the gold as like, it's in my blood, it's in the water, it's calling me. I could leave, I know I oughta, but there's gold in them hills. So I always saw the gold as the opioid, as the drug, as the addiction, but you saw it differently.
I just have so much respect. Like it's happening more now, but like we always all thought we had to move to New York City or to Nashville or LA to like make it. And I feel like it's spreading out to where like there's people in Augusta, Georgia, or Knoxville, Tennessee, and hopefully that spreads out to small towns because we do have the internet and we can go that. So like maybe there is a future there. So like I feel like that person is one of those people that wants to stay and see it better, even though they're like in the middle of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, it's funny how two people write it. And if the other writer, he'd probably have a different perspective too, you know?
No, he has no perspective.
It's such an interesting sort of, I'm going to go further into this whole just for a moment, if you all will, but almost the, what do you call the sociological part of this too, because I see the people who they know the culture is bad around them, but of course they won't leave, maybe because there's the gold in the hills, but you know, for whatever reason, it's like, you know, it's the toxic relationship. But I appreciate this, like nothing wrong with a song like Jack and Diane and that version of small town America, but
yeah,
but this is so much more honest and real, and how it happens, you know, as its own sort of sociological study, you know, because you know the heartland is supposed to be, you know, the easygoing part, but this is the stuff that grips it. It feels like even more.
Yeah, and we definitely had the Jack and Diane in mind, and also
I'm always thinking
small town Saturday night. Yeah,
like Bruce Springsteen. You know, it's also like what you're saying too, like if you watch some of those documentaries about the opioid crisis and how the Sackler family like they literally like pick these small places to start trying their drug out. Mm-hmm. It's crazy, and I don't want to get into all that because it's not supposed to be like a political thing, but it's a
our video disappeared. Yeah.
But I think like it is a fun. It's a good thing for us to like be thinking about like is this how can we get to the other side of it for sure. I'm sorry, I lost train of thought for a second.
Sorry.
Anyway,
it's all right. You know, all that aside, it's a beautiful song, and there are beautiful songs all throughout this record. Kanene, I'll bring up yours while we're here because Cost of Living, you know, is another one of those. It probably, I don't know, just the title of it, you know, could be co-opted into the conversation that we're talking about here, but how does that fit within the record, within all the stuff that we're discussing?
Oh, I mean, that song really fits in with the whole loser title, because I think it's just about being blindsided by something that you should have seen coming and trying to like hold on to things that you should really let go of. And you know, I have a few of those things that I struggle with, but yeah, it's kind of one of those songs just about like grief and trying to move on, but not wanting to move on from the thing that really made your life feel like it was worth living.
See, that's not so far away from what we're talking about with people getting stuck in small towns. Like it's that connection. But again, there's that sort of toxic relationship with how we have relationships with anything, I think. But
we're really good at toxic relationships.
Toxicity.
We actually celebrate that. That's a love language.
Yes.
You know, what was I reading? Of course, this is self-produced, but Kanene, what was it that you're also like in charge of vocals? Is that different than how you've done it in the past? Like putting someone sort of as the point person?
Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to vocal produce the group in a more I don't know, just authoritative way.
That was the right adjective.
I'd say like in the studio, everybody has a capacity for different things that they'll like go down a rabbit hole forever. And it's like Brian will chase the guitar tone for 10 hours while everyone else
Everything
is like,
except vocals.
hey man, can you like do something else? So vocals he does not have that patience for, but I do. And I will. I think the beautiful thing after singing with people for over 10 years is that you know all of these intricacies of their vocals and what they can do. And I really just wanted to plumb those depths and get the best takes that I know that they're capable of if they just try. So that was fun.
Authoritative.
Yeah, I think it's almost extra interesting that you're doing this in Roy Orbison's former house, because you've got one of the greatest vocalists of all time, and you're talking about vocals. How did that play the parts in all of this? Because I'm sure that's its own aura in itself.
Yeah. We were given his house for several weeks to make this record, and I mean, there's such a spirit there. I mean, first of all, it's the second house that the same builder built. The first house was the one that burned down, that his sons died in the fire. I can't believe that he was like called the same guy and was like, hey, will you build me another one? But it was also, it's right next to Johnny Cash's burned down house, who the same guy also built that one. And it had just so much power. It's like a 6,000 square foot cabin basically on the lake, and it used to be the pool house, and is just really, really beautiful during the day and peaceful, and then really creepy and at night, which was a great, just yin and yang.
Yeah.
We all spent the night there. We all stayed there for a couple of weeks. It was awesome. We got all in it.
Just lean into the whole feeling of it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. For sure.
I want to hit also on a couple of the tracks here. The album opens up with Honey, and as I read again about how it's like your wife didn't like to be called Honey or Babe. Did the song Unicorn kind of make up for that? Did that balance it out?
Yeah.
She loves being called Unicorn.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the first time she heard the lyrics to Honey, she was like, oh, you're finally being honest about something. No, I'm just kidding. She's a spicy meatball. But she loved Unicorn from the very first second she heard it. I was playing like the really bad demo in the car while we were driving somewhere, and she was like, who is this? And I was like, it's Lone Bellow, it's me. She was like, wait, I like this song. I was like, what does that mean?
Because all your other ones.
So she loves Honey and Unicorn, and yeah. So win.
Nice to have that in your back pocket always as a talent.
Yeah. Well, and bring it up during an argument or whatever. Yeah.
and I want one more song, Dreaming. This song sounds like it could have came from a different era. Like there's magic in that song too.
Dude,
where
Brian.
Where did that come from?
Me and Zach wrote that song years ago in LA during a thunderstorm in LA. It was a monsoon
in Phoenix.
I was in LA. It was in LA. Anyway, I remember the time because we wrote Hollywood too. We wrote Hollywood too at the same time in this Airbnb. Anyway, it sat in the Dropbox. It's one of my favorite things that happens on a record. Honestly, it sat in the Dropbox forever, and I was always every time we
had a completely different melody.
Yeah. Every time we start talking about doing a record, I would bring it back up because I love the song. And I love how honest the verses are, and just how like conversational they are. And there's no like prose or anything. It's just like conversational. the first week I was in the house, because we had their house for like 8 weeks, and we did it. There's like 3 records made while we had the house. But the first night I was at the house, I was playing that song, and I played it that way, and it was like almost like Roy was like, play it this way, and I was like, I really loved it. I didn't even want to share it with them because I thought they'd say no, and I was like, I think we should record this song, and they both were like, yes, of course. I was like, oh wow, okay, great, because I thought it was so special. The song's always been so special because it just encapsulates this picture of New York in my mind, and almost like how you live there, and you live like you're gone, but you still like can taste it and see it and smell it. Sometimes, you know what I mean? Like any city, any place you've left, you still can, all the feelings can wash over you. And whenever I hear that song, it just reminds me of walking on getting lost in New York City and finding love and everything. You know what I mean?
And so many things happened to you while you were lost in New York City.
Oh man,
Many things.
dude,
My taxis.
my favorite thing in New York was like just starting at a bar and getting lost. That was my favorite thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could go down the list. There was like the poop on the rail,
But that was a homeless
no
guy.
one wants
and
to know
then
about
there
that.
was falling asleep on the soups and the guy taking your money,
No, I got beat up by some cops.
beat up by cops,
Yeah.
hit by 2 taxis.
I got hit by a couple taxis.
Yeah, you got doored a lot.
And there's the dreaming quality, the lovely New York, and he comes back with black and blue and
Anything bad? Is something wrong with my brain? I only remember good things. So I don't even think
It's
about
really
this kind
fun.
of stuff. Literally just rose-colored glasses in my mind.
Brian, that's so backwards because we're wired to remember the bad things, so we don't do it. Like it's rare that we remember the good things. If you're working against evolution here, I think is what I'm getting at.
Like whatever was between like the caveman.
We reached the zenith, and then Brian is like the danger of.
I still grunted people and expected to understand me.
Oh, I love it. You know what? I'm so glad you guys stuck with that track, and for whatever had to happen to you. That's it is a beautiful one. And so much on here. Hey, Zach, I'll close up with this too. You'd released a record recently too. Did you find that had an influence on how you approach this record? Does doing a solo one like that have any effect?
For sure. I think just it's funny actually, the guy that I talked to about this was Jim James.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it made the work that we do together, like my ideas were like a little less precious, and I was able to actually like see and hear my co-creators in a way that maybe I didn't allow myself to do in past records. And I think it also just like, I don't know if I would have agreed to us self-producing it if I hadn't like done that little solo thing, because it just like shook the dust a little bit.
It's so hard. I've been a very proponent for him to make a record for a long time, because we make 15 songs every 2-3 years. That's not fair for a songwriter. Like you got to put other stuff out, and then coming back to this one, I could tell a thing, because he was just like game for whatever. It was really fun. It was not that he wasn't. It was just a different vibe altogether, because he felt like he was planting those seeds elsewhere where they should be, So
yeah. Well, again, everything that's led into it. This is one of my favorite albums that you guys have done so far, and I really mean that. So, and it's got one of the best titles. Let's say it correctly: Love Songs for Losers.
yes.
We're gonna stick the landing here at the end. Y'all, thank you so much for catching up again. It's always great to see you all. Congrats on this one. I really mean it.
Thanks.
Right on.
We'll see you in Louisville, bud.
Yeah, come on up. We'll do it up again.
Thanks, Kyle. All right, man.
All right, take care, y'all. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
And thanks to my guest. Also, thanks to you for checking out the episode in the series. Before you get out of here, hit that subscribe button. Again, you get 3 brand new interviews every single week. New one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. at right here on YouTube, or of course anywhere in podcast land, including iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, NPR, or WFPK.org as well. A great way to keep up with your favorite artists and discover new ones as well. Then after that, actually head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's an hour full of song premieres, music news, anniversary spins, bonus interviews, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern at WFPK.org. Consequence has your music and film news. You can also find me on the social media spots, Facebook, Instagram, mostly on Twitter. All three of them, the address is at Kyle Meredith. Do hope you like and follow along. That does it for another edition. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.